That's okay, we got you.
Okay, I got you too.
Yeah, because I spoke the truth, and that bothered you.
It's a matter of public opinion, isn't it?
It's a matter of public fact as well. This is
The
good.
fact is,
I like it.
the fact
You
is,
guys played the race card, and we played the truth. And that's how it's supposed to work. Thank you so much. So, I really appreciate...
Oh my God.
Janet, I think that's a really good idea, Wes, what you did. That was good, making a point about if they love open borders, then send all the illegals there. If that's how they feel about it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
So, I think they're trying to do the same thing, but it's nice.
All the way across.
It's really good. We had a really good discussion today at the Cudahy City Council. So,
And this is going to go on YouTube.
please do.
And he has no idea
Absolutely.
what to say.
Why were you playing the race card? Why were you playing the race card?
The only thing you're not doing.
Why were you playing the race card? Why were you playing the race card?
Because you're playing.
Why were you playing the race card? So, how am I playing it? How am I playing it? I'm asking a question.
You're doing everything.
Okay, how did I play the race card? I'm asking a question.
Yes.
Okay, how did I play the race card?
You
How did I-
stated everything except actually using the word race.
Oh, so I didn't say it. Okay, so
Yeah, you didn't
I
say
wasn't racist. Thank you.
That doesn't mean you didn't.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for affirming
imply
it.
Right?
I wasn't racist. I appreciate
You didn't
that.
imply it, correct?
So I wasn't racist. Thank
You
you.
didn't imply it either, right?
Okay, so I'm not racist. I appreciate you
didn't imply
affirming
it,
that.
of course, right?
How did I imply it?
By everything you stated up on the podium.
What's one thing I said that implies racism? What's one thing I said?
Well, first of all, you were saying that we could all go back to Spain.
Okay, I did not say that. You're talking about the podium. What at the podium did I say that was racist?
At this point, that was,
Okay, I didn't. I spoke about the rule of law. That looks beyond color. That's the beauty of it. We are all accorded natural rights by God, but we have also national sovereignties that have to be respected. That has nothing to do with race. That's the beauty of this country, too.
You bring up God.
Okay,
Right.
but what did I say that was racist? I didn't say anything racist. So thank you. It's on record. So I really want this on YouTube. This man affirmed that I'm not racist. We have members of our team. We have members of our team who are Hispanic and African American. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Acknowledge natural law.
So, I did. I mentioned natural law. So I really appreciate it.
No, you didn't.
This is my water.
We're going to review this. It's going to be transcribed.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm not racist. You just affirmed it. I spoke the truth. I really appreciate it. I don't want to hit you with my car, so thank you. You played the race card, but it's okay. It's okay. I forgive you for doing that, and thanks for this discussion. Let me see what's going on over here. They get really angry. They don't like it when someone speaks the truth.
Absolutely. And when they talk about diversity, they're not talking about us. They're talking.
We usually get pushed out. You know, I have a diverse heritage. I mentioned it to you. I'm part French Canadian. I'm part German. I'm part Irish, Welsh, Scotch, Czech Republic.
I can understand your worries.
Czech and Czechoslovakians were made slaves at one time too.
America could be
It's really
a
bad.
country.
Oh God,
No,
you're
it's-
slavery.
We're trying to protect. We're trying to.
Thank you for agreeing. It was it was devastating what happened in Eastern Europe.
And Trump will make it that. That's why he says make America great again.
You know,
And in Spain, by the way, I know the conservatives, they didn't get a 50% plus one majority, but it was close. They're going to have to form a unity government.
Correct.
So I know about stuff. This is something else I want to challenge. There's some Europeans, they come to the United States and you said it, Americans are all ignorant. You've met somebody, I speak other languages too. I'm aware of the politics that goes on in Europe. I was following the Brexit. I understand that there's going to be an exit perhaps in the Netherlands. Geert Wilders is leading that. Sweden has, I think Scotland might break away. They have a real attachment to a lot of the global aspects of the European Commission.
Scotland will
invest so much money in the UK. Why'd you do that?
The U.S. per se doesn't. Businesses do, individuals do.
That was a horrible idea.
Okay, but wait a minute. U.S. as a country? No, countries don't necessarily trade with countries. You have corporations or individuals. So that's not true.
This is a bad idea. When I saw
What was a bad idea, though?
you lost 22 billion.
What do you mean I didn't invest $22 billion, so that doesn't make sense.
You know what? It'll all come back.
It's not semantics, it's just a statement of fact. So this is pretty good.
How do you lose 22 billion in 2 minutes?
What do you mean you? We didn't invest $22 billion.
You can't follow the lead.
So
realize that here in America we had to eradicate certain diseases, and because of open borders, those diseases are starting to show back up.
okay.
Told me that in Europe, the medical
So
my nephew had hoof and mouth disease.
okay.
We never had hoof and mouth disease.
Jesus.
It was almost eradicated.
Yes.
We're having diseases come back.
They're coming back now, and that's why there's been the forced vaccination cult.
Which is where they were bringing the unescorted minors.
Okay, so I'm glad that you affirmed that we're not racist. We care about the rule of law.
Yeah, very much.
Okay, so this is on record now for everybody.
It's on record.
This is what we end up dealing with. People who, there's an anger, there's a tinge, there's an unwillingness to listen. It's on record. Thank you.
Couldn't follow his legal decision.
But I do appreciate some of your comments have been very forceful. I appreciate it. But you said you wanted to learn. You're doing it. We're exercising our rights. We're not afraid to do it. We have stood up to corrupt politicians, not just here in my own city. I've stood up to my mayor. We have weird stuff going on in Bellflower, and we do it.
Let me ask you this question. If people are coming here, it's for an opportunity.
Right?
All right. If there's no opportunity in these other countries, I would suggest this, that it is because of a corrupt government there that is oppressing the people there.
That's right.
Not allowing opportunity.
And no rule of law.
No rule of law, right?
So he doesn't believe it. Just want that on record.
Those countries cannot keep that government in check and rule of law, and coming here, how could they possibly keep these politicians in check?
It's not PSP, it's ESP. But I understand.
It's like power. So they couldn't manage their own countries. If they come here in mass, how can they deal with the corrupt politicians here? Because, we got to deal with these people. And it's the rule of law.
You agree.
Wherever there's
I appreciate
not
it.
the rule of law, that's where you have a
It's the
breakdown of
rule of
society.
law.
And when you come here, then we don't have
What
a
we
rule of law.
support is the rule of law, basically.
And you was talking about all these murders. All these murders are a result of a breakdown of the rule of law.
Especially against police.
In America, when we had rule of law and we didn't have all these murders, it is a complete direct result of the breakdown of the rule of law.
So can you also say it's more like a slippery slope in the sense that
That's a good point. Keep going.
that it will
That's
lead to
what we're
worse
concerned
things?
about.
Yeah, it's happening now.
Here's the thing: we can't use fallacies in the way we think because 9 out of 10 times they're wrong.
What do you mean
Like,
fallacy?
A fallacy is when you
Well, how is it?
make a suggestion. For example, you're saying, okay, because of all the influx of, let's say, immigrants from all over the world, doesn't matter. Coming with venereal diseases and all that.
Right.
Like, yeah. And then they come with, let's say, religions, traditions that are not the norm of the average American. And they conflict with the system here, like, for example, like you said, raping, and stuff like that.
You recognize that it's an aspect of a culture.
Unfortunately, some cultures...
Yes, it is. That is correct. Sadly,
And when you talk about the U.S. being a melting pot, it's because previous immigrants have melted.
all right. Good night, Jack.
The current immigrants are not becoming Americans.
They're not assimilating.
Forming their own communities.
That's every country.
But we've never been like that.
What's a wasp?
That has
I want them to be human beings.
That's been the idea of the U.S.
We had an influx of Europeans coming.
What do you mean?
over, right?
I'm asking a question.
There was a period
Okay, so you don't want to explain it to me. That's fine.
We had no more immigrants coming through
That's
because
not
they
what
didn't
you
allow everybody to assimilate. Because when everybody came
Isn't
here,
that the case in
everybody
Spain?
learned English.
People come to Spain, they become Spanish, right?
With time.
With time, exactly.
Right. So we cut off immigration there for about 40 years to give all the different people a chance to assimilate, and we all came in under one common language. Okay? And the problem is when you bring in massive influences of people coming in with different cultures, different religions, right, and they're not assimilating into Americanism, you have a problem. And you really have a problem.
Because you talk about American culture, and it's
Can I
under.
tell you about our friend Chanel, what happened to our friend Chanel? Okay, she's
This is
black.
very important.
She's part of our group. Okay? She has at least one degree, I think maybe multiple degrees.
She's an accountant, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, she has an accounting degree. I don't know if she's a CPA. She was working at a company. She was doing their payroll and other accounting things. The company started hiring illegal immigrants. She didn't speak Spanish. So they fired her because she couldn't communicate with the employees they were hiring. She lost and it was during the financial meltdown.
Jesus.
So she couldn't,
Yeah.
So she couldn't find another job. She lost everything. But she lost her home. She had to go on Medicaid or Medi-Cal, as we call it in California. Okay, I'm not done. Okay, so she felt a pain in her eye. She didn't think much of it. She thought it was sinus or something. She made an appointment with a Medi-Cal doctor. You know how long it takes to get in to see a Medi-Cal doctor? Months.
Too long.
Right? So she waited a couple months. She went and saw him. He said, I'm not sure what's going on. You need to see an ophthalmologist. 4 months to get in to see the ophthalmologist. Because Medi-Cal doctors are not good. There aren't enough of them. Basic, of course there's some that are good, just generalized. Okay, by the time she got into the ophthalmologist, she had glaucoma. She lost the sight in her eye. Because she didn't speak Spanish, she lost the sight in her eye. And they're bringing in more people.
You think it's funny that she lost her eyesight?
I don't think it's funny that
No,
Jeez. It's not funny. Yikes. Sorry.
Well, why did she lose her job?
That's right.
Because she didn't speak Spanish.
And why was that burden on her?
Medical insurance.
There was a time when I didn't know how to add and subtract. I didn't know how to. I learned it. I am
Obligated to learn Spanish.
That's the whole point.
60 years
Obligated to
old.
learn Spanish.
And the bigger point is that they're illegal aliens who shouldn't have been hired in the first place.
They're flooding it.
That's it.
English.
If she would have got into
En anglais.
doctor
So, and in Spain, if somebody wants to speak to a doctor or go into any major profession, can they speak English or French in Spain? They're expected to speak Spanish, aren't they? Or Galiciano or whatever. Catalan.
That's what I speak.
Okay.
But the thing is that everyone in the colonies, you're going to hear 15 languages spoken at all times.
No, you're talking about the Spanish in the Spanish.
Spain. It's amazing.
I agree with you. I know Galiciano, Catalan, Aragonés.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialects, right?
And they're distinct. They're like different languages.
There's German, everything, you name it. We have everything because we understand as a country that we are a multicultural country. Like America, like, Sweden, like...
So how does somebody who speaks German communicate with somebody who speaks French?
You have to learn.
Huh?
You have to learn.
Okay, well, that's not freedom then.
That is
But I mean,
When they're forced to. That's the first thing. And here's the other thing, too. The current policy in the European community is one of open borders, and it's created a lot of destruction. It's created a lot of economic drag. Britain just broke away. Italy wants out. Netherlands wants out. Spain. There are people in Spain wanting to leave because they don't have control over their borders.
But the way things are now,
English is common law language.
Yes, that is true.
and the way things are,
They're
here
required
now,
to learn it in Denmark and Norway,
the way
Sweden.
things are here now,
Yes.
Up to you.
he shouldn't learn French. He should learn.
I don't have to.
Spanish.
I chose to.
He chose to learn French.
That's another thing. I like the
My
point you made
children
about
are
freedom.
very interested in Japanese. Why couldn't they choose that language? I had to force them to take Spanish because just
Yeah.
practically speaking.
And this still misses the bigger issue, the rule of law.
Here's the question I have. Now, I don't know if you heard about it. They're in Mexico. Okay, do you hear about the teacher strike? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Once all the teachers are not murdered.
Yeah, about what?
Holy crap! Teachers got murdered?
Yeah, it was
What?
over there a couple of weeks ago, right? So they were standing up to that corrupt Mexican government, and they got brutal down.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the question
And they
is-
killed journalists. They hang them from a tree.
Yeah, so you got this brutal Mexican government that's
Yeah.
out of control there. Now the question is, now you will have like what he said about the speech of Martin Luther King. There'll be people that stand up against tyranny.
We
Now,
want more of that.
Now imagine in Mexico, if 10, 20, 30 years ago, the people of Mexico would have stood up to that corrupt government when the corruption was small. But what happened is the people who stood up to be heroes looked behind them to see who would back them to stand up to that corrupt government, and all the
all
people
in
left.
here.
They
were
all
here.
left and come. So the heroes of Mexico now, who would
Live
stand
here.
up to the government and look behind them, there's nobody behind them. They're all here, which has allowed that government to become increasingly corrupt to the point now where they just kill those people, and you're not hearing any outcry from anywhere. That's outrageous.
Wouldn't you agree that every government is corrupt?
Yeah, exactly. And it has to be put in its place.
And that's one of the. You want to talk about what America is? It starts with a healthy understanding. You love your country. You don't trust your government. You have that founding constitution. You don't trust your government. Government. You don't trust it. You put it under a microscope. You ensure that it abides by limited enumerated powers. We don't even have that. With so. ¿Una pregunta?
You have questions?
No, I'm
Just listening. ¿Estoy escuchando?
Yeah.
¿Estás escuchando? Okay. Yep.
It all goes back to rule of law.
And that's what divides a civilized country that's able to stand and grow and thrive, that freedom, that ability to learn, or it's challenged by the rule of the jungle where it's only the strongest, like you see in Mexico with these thugocracies. You have cartels which target police and kill them. Wait a minute, that's happening now here.
Why?
I mean, I'm trying to say is what you look. If you look at America and follow
Yes.
history,
El Chapo was one of
the
them.
1950s
Damn.
was really the zenith.
Oh, believe me, they're corrupt too. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I hate the Kennedys. Absolutely do. Look at Massachusetts. It's a nut house. I have friends there who hate it there. I absolutely agree with you.
But blacks, even at that point, where you would argue racism, they still had families. The family structure was still.
That's right. They were enslaved, many of them. Many. Chanel, she's a descendant of a black slave. She can trace her lineage back to the boat. Her family was brought on back to the village. She can. So, and before that, you had said there were indigenous tribes who were here. Then you had Spain take over, and then Mexico took it away from Spain. Now, 1848, Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. 1848. The fight, and I remember, I've read the histories on this, in Mexico City, I mean, it was crazy. The American army used the same pathway that the conquistadores had used. Crazy.
Horrible.
There were a lot of Mexicans who wanted